Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we're back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 24, and we're currently up here in a very high place indeed, just underneath the Mumbo Jumbo mob spawner, ready to start recording another video. And I've got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to be recording this video, simply because the response to the previous episode of Hermitcraft has been absolutely fantastic. I'm recording this on the Friday, the previous episode released yesterday, and the positive response has been absolutely huge. You guys have really been enjoying me doing these slightly bigger projects and episodes. Of course, in the previous episode, we built this entire mob farm. That is right, we built the entire mob farm in one episode. It did take quite a lot of work, but it's well worth it. Getting it all done in one episode, it just means that you can leave it behind, get it all finished, don't have to worry about it anymore, and I'm really happy that we did it because, I mean, look at this thing. It looks absolutely brilliant. We've built it entirely out of iron, and then a few little half slabs as well, and it all looks fantastic, and it is all working like a charm. But sadly, you can't just have a mob farm, okay? You can't just build this and then just leave it there. You need some way to collect up all the items, you need some way to transport them, put them down into the storage system. So that is what we are going to be working on in today's episode, and it should be quite a bit of fun. Now, I have actually deactivated the mob spawner because obviously we are going to be building hoppers underneath, and we don't want mobs falling down as we are building this thing. But I left it running for probably 2 or 3 cycles, and look at all the mobs that are down under here. Now, the good thing is, due to the way that Minecraft is at the minute, for some reason, mobs can't really swim particularly well, so they aren't much of a threat to me right now. But yeah, that is 2 or 3 cycles with only about 50% of the farm being loaded. I would say that is pretty good. We're going to end up with absolutely tons of item drops, but this guy's making his way over. We've knocked him straight back. Yeah, these guys, they aren't much of a threat at all. Obviously, this whole project is going to require quite a few hoppers, which means we're going to need a ton of wood. And sadly, my axe broke the other day, so we're going to be doing a bit of an axe enchantment here. Let's chuck the axe in there, and then our lapis. That will give efficiency 4. That is perfect for me. Let's take a look what we got. And it's just efficiency 4. I suppose, I mean, I can't really complain too much, but I would have liked a little bit of unbreaking or silk touch or anything else to make that just a tiny bit more fancy. We have placed in all of the hoppers now. They are all done and dusted. It took around about 2.5 stacks, so that's quite a few. That's around about 150 hoppers. That's a lot of wood and quite a lot of iron as well, but it's all worth it because that means that all of our item drops from these mobs that are falling down from here will be dropping down. They'll be landing on these blocks here, hopefully dying. I mean, I really do hope I've calculated everything correctly here, but they will die, and all of their item drops will travel through into the hoppers. They will travel all the way along like this, and into these final few hoppers at this end. And as you can see already, we have got some half slabs. I must have just dropped those as I was on my way past. But also, we have got ourselves a little bit of string, which means that a spider for some reason spawned up there and somehow managed to fall off, despite the fact that the mob spawner is actually off. And it's happened again! What's going on with these guys? I mean, seriously, that thing is off. I don't understand how they're managing to fall out of that thing, but clearly they are. So yeah, that spider just fell down there. He did die, which is very promising indeed. And hopefully his string is making his way all the way through these hoppers and into this final one. And as you can see, yes, that is all there. So yes, the hoppers are in place and they are working just as expected. Now we are going to be covering the entire thing in half slabs, simply because I think that looks better. Done, and done. The half slabs are in place and it is looking absolutely fantastic, and one of the main positives of using half slabs on top of hoppers is of course the fact that you can run on top of them. I don't know what it is, but I think it's something to do with servers and the little dip that you have inside the hoppers. It just causes problem and I often end up glitching into them, and it's not particularly pleasant to work with, so I decided to come up with this little solution here. And not only does it work perfectly, but it looks really good. It looks so cool with these prismarine lantern things, those sea lanterns, that's what they're called. It's such a nice little combo, and I think that's something I'm going to be using more of in the future. Of course, we used it for the entire Great Rail, but I just really like it. It just doesn't get boring for me. But anyway, let's just check that all of the hoppers will pick up the items. Yes, by the look of things, they will. So that is pretty promising. This is going to be working nicely. We have done the pickup area for all of the item drops. There's one thing that I noticed about the little item collection system that we had in comparison to the mob spawner, and that is the fact that the item collection system looked very small indeed, to the point where it actually looked just a little bit silly. So what I decided to do was I've gone around all of the half slabs with iron blocks. Now, not only does this look really cool on the surface, but also from down underneath, it doesn't look anywhere near as silly anymore. It actually looks relatively good. It's a cool little addition to the build, and I'm very, very happy with it. So we are going to be moving on from that now. We are going to be doing a little bit of redstone work, but one thing that I will say is that it's really very annoying having all of my items over in Hermit Hills. I keep having to go back and forth, which isn't too bad. It's only around about 3, maybe 4 minutes there and back. But it's one of those things, it just adds so much time to all of the projects because I keep forgetting things that I need. Very frustrating. As always, I feel the need to show you this on camera, so we already have one of the droppers hooked up to a bunch of the redstone stuff so that it automatically fires when the items come in. And how about we do the other one? It's a very short and very simple task indeed, and as you guys know, I like to show it to you just because it's one of those circuits that is oh so very useful. It's one of those things that you can use hundreds upon hundreds of times. It's brilliant. It's one of the main circuits that I probably use most often in all of my farms. So here we have the dropper. We're going to run the comparator out of that one. We're going to place redstone dust on top of both of those blocks. I have gone fully into tutorial mode, but I don't even care. So we're going to place a block there, and then we want a block there with the repeater running across with the redstone there, and that will create your redstone clock. And then all you have to do is we have to chuck down a block right here, and as you can see, our items are being fired from the dropper. It is all working perfectly, and that is actually going to be firing the items down a set of tubes that will take them right the way down to the bottom, ready for our storage area. So this is where the items are going to be landing. They're going to be falling all the way from up there, right the way down a tube and landing on this compressed ice. And then they are going to be transported across like this, across outwards like that, into the sorting system, and then into a large storage area that is going to be holding all of the resources. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because we still have to build the tubes themselves. I'm going to be making these out of glass because I think that looks a whole bunch better, so I'm going to start building those. We've had just a little bit of a change of plan in terms of what we're going to be doing for the items. As you know, I was going to be doing a tube-based system, but I built one of them out of glass and it used over 3 stacks, and that's far too much. I just don't have that much glass, and I didn't feel like investing that much into the tube design, which, let's face it, didn't really look that incredible. So instead, we're going to be doing a through the air type thing, and we're going to be giving that a test right about now. So we have thrown in 42 iron blocks, and we should see that they are being dropped out into the water stream. I'll try my best and not to pick any of them out, but yeah, they are being dropped into the water stream, and they are falling through there. Now let's take a look. Yes, it looks like they might be missing my little platform there. This might need a little bit extra work. Let's take a look down the bottom. I don't have the highest hopes for this one. Actually, believe it or not, it looks like most of them fell down there. That's fairly promising. In fact, you know what? I think I might conduct another test, but instead of having it like this, we're actually going to increase the length of this area in which they can fall into, because obviously this whole thing, this is just going to be water, so they can fall anywhere in this area. I'm going to do another test, and I'll give you the verdict in a couple of seconds. It is progress update time. I have done a whole bunch of stuff since the previous cut. I've got loads of things to show you, and also a ton of stuff to talk about. So, first things first, in the previous cut, we weren't 100% certain that everything up there was completely working. We didn't know if the items were actually getting stuck somewhere, or we were going to lose them, but I can confirm I've done around about 5, 6, maybe even 7 tests now. All of the items make their way into the water streams, which is pretty good. They all land in these 3 blocks here, which means that that's fine, okay? We're not going to lose them. My only problem would be if they landed on these blocks here, but I didn't get a single case of that. And like I say, I put around about 7 stacks of items through this, so I would say that is a pretty convincing thing. However, you know, these things can happen. It might be further down the line we notice there's a problem. We might have to end up fixing that one, but for the minute, everything seems to be absolutely perfect. So all of those items will land in this area here. They will then be transported along by the water right the way down here, across like this, and then into this water stream. Now I'm probably going to end up moving this one down a little bit, just because otherwise we're going to have an absolute gargantuan storage system, and I don't really want the one that big. But one thing that I will say is that earlier on I was talking about a sorting system. I was originally planning on building one of those today, but unfortunately I don't think I'll be able to do that. We might have to save that for another episode, so that is why we might have to move things about a little bit. But yeah, basically what will happen is the items will travel along like this, and then they will fall down there into a water stream that carries them across and drops all of the items down into all of the chests, which means we will get tons and tons of items going into tons and tons of space. We will have loads and loads of area for items, and it's going to be the perfect storage system. I cannot wait to get it up and running and start storing all of these mob drops away, because we're going to need quite a lot of storage considering how big this thing is. I'm just over at the witch farm picking up some supplies, and I just wanted to show you that they are actually producing quite a bit of stuff. Now, this isn't all of the witch farms together, otherwise it's not really that impressive. This is one witch farm running at half efficiency at the most. And as you can see, I think Exuma was there for a couple of hours the other day, and we have got a ton of resources. And if you're wondering why there is absolutely no redstone, it is quite simply because he has picked all of that up. That's the reason that he came over here. But all I'm doing is trying to pick up some bones. But yeah, we've got loads of sugar, a ton of rotten flesh. We have got these spider eyes as well, a little bit of glowstone. Yeah, it's all looking pretty good in terms of the resources. Second enchantment of today's video, we are going to be doing a shovel, and that is because sadly my one has just run out. And I swear I recently did a shovel, but by the look of things I've either lost it or it's completely broken. I can't quite remember, but anyway, let's hop up here, chuck the shovel in there, and then the lapis there, and we should be getting efficiency 4, which is a thumbs up from me. Click on that, and we just got efficiency 4. What's going on? What is going on with the boring enchantments that we seem to be getting on Hermitcraft lately? I don't know what to do. I want some fancy stuff. I've just done a whole bunch of tree chopping. We got our lumberjack jacket on. We got the axe out. We managed to take down a bunch of trees. So as you can see from my inventory, we have got over 10 stacks of logs. Over 10 stacks of logs. That is a good situation to be in. You may be noticing that I have actually got quite a lot of dark oak wood in there, and that is because I got all of my spruce wood, and then I took a look in this building over here, and this is actually a place by Exuma Void, who happens to have loads and loads of that dark oak. So this is the dark oak exchange, and you take 2 dark oak, and you put 1 other log in, which means that we have doubled our wood supply, which is extremely helpful. So thank you to Exuma Void for building this place, and what that means is we can make loads and loads of chests, and loads of hoppers. Now we are going to need a lot of both of those to make this storage system, because obviously it's going to be absolutely huge, so that we can make way for all of the items that are going to be popping in. So anyway, I'm going to head back over to the mob spawner, going to travel along the tunnel there. I'll catch you over there. Honestly, cannot remember the last time I had this many chests at once. Feels brilliant. We now have an official plan for the storage system. Now, I'm not going to talk about it for too long, just because I've been talking quite a lot in today's episode. Been doing plenty of rambling, but essentially we are going to be leaving the sorting system for another day. That is going to be a project for another episode. It's a big project, and it's something that I really want to put time and effort into. I don't want to sort of rush it out towards the end of an episode, because that won't be particularly good. So we're not going to be doing that. Instead, we're going to be having a bog standard storage system, but it's going to be a pretty good one. All of the items will fall down here, they'll then fall into a water stream, which will push all of the items to the left hand side, and then it will run all the way across like this. And because they're all on the left hand side, we will then run hoppers across the left hand side, which will drop all of the items into the chest. Now we're going to have a 5x10 area of double chests, which means we need 150 chests in total for each side. We're going to have plenty of storage space, so that shouldn't be a problem, which basically means we are pretty much good to go. So I'm going to start building this one, and I'll give you a progress update in a couple of seconds. All the blocks for the first water flow system are now in, so if you want to take a look at all of the technicalities behind this, because there's some strange stuff going on here. Basically what happens is the items flow down here, there'll be water here that pushes them across, and then they will actually hit this chest, which means that they are sort of hanging off the edge of the block. As you can see, if we walk across like this chest is clearly indented because we can't walk back across like that, which means that any items that actually hit it are overhanging between these 2 blocks. Now what that means is, underneath these upside down half slabs, we can place hoppers, and they can run into these chests here, and the items will actually be picked up by the hoppers, which means that they can stay on the ice, continue traveling nice and quickly, but they are also being picked up by the hoppers, which is a perfect solution, and a big thank you to the Zip Crowd server for pointing that one out. A bunch more stuff has been done. I've got a full wall of hoppers, and I've also got all of the chests in place, apart from all of the trap chests, which is why we have got all of these gaps here. And the reason that I haven't done the trap chest just yet is because I didn't want to shoot myself in the foot. I didn't want to craft up a bunch of trap chests, then realize that I still need a few more chests, or I still need a few more hoppers, because that would mean that I didn't have enough resources, and that would cause a few problems, because we'd have to go all the way back to Hermit's Hills to gather that stuff, then come all the way back, and unfortunately, time is relatively limited right now. So as I say, pretty much everything is in place. We have got all the hoppers. All we need to do now is chuck in all of the water and do all of the trap chests, but I'll do all of that at the end. Now it's time to start work on the other side. Good news, everybody, there has been a whole bunch of progress on the Hermitcraft server since you last saw it. First off, we have got the second side done. The water stream is in place, that fancy water stream with the chest on the side and the items run across the side, that is in. We have got all of the hoppers, we have got pretty much all of the chests. Once again, there is no trap chest, but everything is in on either side now, apart from the trap chest. In the middle, we now have a flooring area, which is okay. Now, the main focus of this build definitely isn't to look good. This is not here to be a pretty ornament. This is literally, as far as I can say, function over fashion. That is what we are going for. We are going for efficiency. We're going for all of that stuff before making it look good. Coincidentally, I do actually quite like the look of iron, glass, half slabs, and the sea lanterns, which, funnily enough, they are my easiest blocks to come about, so that's a pretty good combination there. I do think it looks quite cool, but it definitely isn't there just to look good. This is all here for function, and that is why I am building it. But this is a nice little lighting system that we have going on. So yeah, this is the storage system at the minute, but of course we do need to add in all of those chests, and by the look of things, I have forgotten to place in one of the glass blocks. I didn't even notice that those ones were missing. All of the trap chests are now in place, and we also have a little bit of extra decoration as well, to sort of no avail, because I don't actually think it's made it look any better. In fact, I think it might have made it look a little bit worse, but I just don't like it when you have chests stacked on top of one another, and they're standing there without anything around them. Something about it just doesn't look quite right. It looks like they're about to fall over, so I like to surround them in blocks, and this seemed like a pretty decent way of doing it, but I might change that at some point in the future. But yeah, all of the chests are in. We have got walls of chests. I cannot wait for all of these to fill up. That is going to be such a good feeling, watching all of these just gradually fill up with all of those lovely item drops. But anyway, that's enough talk about the chest. We will crack on, and we will do all of the water inside the item transportation system. But there is one thing that I just want to mention. I've just realized there's been something that I've noticed that's a little bit off about playing on Hermitcraft today, and that is the fact that I haven't had to sleep once. I am yet to sleep, and I've just realized that the sun hasn't moved from its location for the entire episode. So clearly, for some reason, we have eternal day on at the minute. I think that might be because someone is doing a time lapse. Apparently, that's now a thing, that if you don't want the night cycle to happen while you're time lapsing, you can actually set eternal day on. By the look of things, though, someone has actually forgotten to turn that off. So currently, we are just basking in sunlight forever on end on Hermitcraft. Not a bad place to be. So, here comes the moment of truth. We have got all the water streams in, everything should be set up and ready to go. So now, let us give it a tester. We'll chuck 64 iron into this side, and we will chuck 64 iron into this side as well. It is good to hear the droppers working, even if that is a really annoying noise. And we'll try our best to hop down here without actually picking up any of the items. But let's see what is happening here. We should see items falling through the sky. Are you seeing them? I suppose they're slightly further back than the ladder here. So let's just pop on down to this layer, and we'll make sure that none are landing on the edges. If they are, I will do what is known as flip biscuits, okay? I will go absolutely mad. But yes, the items are coming in. They are landing in the water. That was close. That was very, very close indeed. And that one as well. I'm a little bit worried that one might hit the side, but there we go. Apparently, that is all 64 done, and they should have all made their way into the chest. Now, I can't see any items at the end, so let's drop down to the bottom and take a look in the first chest. 36 iron and 39. That's really concerning. That's really, really very, very concerning. Oh no! Oh no! What's happened? Where have the items gone? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. After searching for ages for the lost iron, it looks like I might have found it. In peculiar places, it looks like there's been some strange server lag where the hoppers don't distribute the items correctly anymore. So let's see if this actually adds up. So we've got 39 in the bottom one, good stuff. Up here, we seem to have 21, so that brings our total up to 60. Then we have 2 iron here, and 2 iron down at the bottom to give us 64. Let's check that that's done that on the other side as well. So that is 36 on that side. We then have 26 up here, which takes us to 62. We have no items up there. We have got 2 iron down there. So all of the iron made it down there. It's just gone into strange chests, which actually makes me think, how well would a sorting system work if we're getting that sort of thing happening? That's a pretty good question, because, you know, sorting systems, they rely on elaborate timings and things, and if we're getting strange things happening like that with just a bog standard storage system, I don't know, that might be something to really consider when thinking about building the sorting system. But anyway, like I say, that is a problem for a future episode, because I am fresh out of time for today, ladies and gentlemen. I have been on Hermitcraft for an extremely long time today. This has been a very long, solid session. In fact, I think I've been on here for the entire time. Look how many saved worlds there are. Every one of those accounts for 15 minutes of game time. How insane is that? That's a lot of time spent. If you want, you can try your best to count them. I'd love to know. But for me, as far as I can tell, it's been around about 6 to 7 hours, which is pretty impressive stuff. But anyway, I've really enjoyed this episode. We got tons of stuff done, and I'm feeling pretty positive about the whole system that we have up and running. The mob spawner is almost complete. We've got a few bits left to do, but we'll be able to get those done in the near future. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.